Starlink is refusing to comply with Brazil's X ban. The origin of Starliner's mystery sound has been solved. And the UK government will investigate Ticketmaster's dynamic pricing model after the Oasis chaos. It's Tuesday, September 3rd, and this is Engadget News. After Brazil's Supreme Court ordered internet service providers to block access to X, the social media platform was largely unavailable in the country by Sunday night. The only ways to access X since then have been through VPNs, for those willing to risk huge fines, and Starlink, the satellite internet service that's also run by X owner Elon Musk. The president of Brazil's telecom agency, Anatel, said that Starlink refused to comply with the court order until officials released its frozen assets. That's according to reports from the New York Times. Alexander de Moraes, the Supreme Court justice who has been on the warpath against X, also blocked the local bank accounts of Starlink, which is a SpaceX subsidiary. Moraes, who has accused X of disseminating hate speech and disinformation, is said to have done so with the aim of collecting $3 million in fines levied against X for ignoring his orders to block certain accounts. Starlink petitioned the court to unblock its assets, but the court dismissed the request. Musk called the Starlink account freeze illegal, arguing that SpaceX and X are separate entities, while claiming he owns 40% of X. There are around 250,000 Starlink customers in Brazil. The service has proven popular there in rural areas and among indigenous tribes in the Amazon. Starlink pledged to provide free internet access to its Brazilian customers while its accounts in the country remain blocked. If Starlink maintains its stance on X, Brazil could revoke the internet service's license. If it continues to operate after that, officials could seize equipment from 23 ground stations. The gear helps Starlink improve the quality of its satellite connections. Meanwhile, a majority of a Supreme Court panel upheld the X ban, which Moraes issued after Musk defied several of his orders at a trial on Monday. X will have the right to appeal the decision. The panel also approved an order by Moraes to fine anyone caught using a VPN to access X in Brazil, a daily fine of 50,000 Brazilian real, around $8,900 US. Starliner is scheduled to undock from the International Space Station and make its return trip to Earth uncrewed in just a matter of days. On Saturday, astronaut Butch Wilmore alerted NASA's Mission Control about an unexplained strange noise coming from a speaker in the spacecraft. NASA has since said that the sound has stopped in a statement to Space News' Jeff Faust on Monday and attributed it to an audio configuration between the ISS and Starliner. According to NASA, it was just speaker feedback. The noise was a bit of a head-scratcher over the weekend. After confirming with Mission Control on Saturday that they could hear the sound too, the astronauts noted that everything else seemed normal. NASA's explanation was that the space station audio system is complex, allowing multiple spacecraft and modules to be interconnected, and it is common to experience noise and feedback. The incident had no impact on the crew or Starliner's departure schedule. The Boeing spacecraft has been docked with the ISS since early June, and engineers have since had their hands full trying to get to the bottom of the issues that arose during its first crewed flight. When Starliner finally heads back to Earth on September 6th, it will be leaving its crew, Wilmore and NASA astronaut Suni Williams, behind on the ISS, where they will continue to work for the next few months while they wait for a ride home from SpaceX next February. It's not only Taylor Swift fans and the U.S. government who are not happy about Ticketmaster. The U.K. government is set to look into the company's dynamic pricing model after millions of Oasis fans scrambled for tickets to the band's reunion tour over the weekend. Once fans got through hours-long queues to make their purchase, some found that the price of a standing ticket was suddenly 2.5 times more expensive, in one case going up from about $177 to $444. Ticketmaster often gives customers just seconds to decide whether to complete a purchase once tickets are in their cart, so they don't have much time to determine whether such a hefty price increase is worth it. Many fans did not manage to buy Oasis tickets before they sold out on Ticketmaster. So, if they really want to see Liam and Noel Gallagher on stage together for the first time in 16 years, they may have to resort to resale sites where some touts are trying to sell tickets for nearly $8,000 each. The chaos and complaints about the dynamic pricing model caught the attention of Lisa Nandy, the UK's culture secretary. Nandy says it was depressing to see vastly inflated prices excluding ordinary fans from having a chance of enjoying their favorite band live, and that this government is committed to putting fans back at the heart of music. So Nandy said that they will include issues around the transparency and use of dynamic pricing, including the technology around queuing systems, which incentivize it, in their forthcoming consultation on consumer protections for ticket resales. Before the Labour Party won July's general election, leader Sir Keir Starmer vowed to cap resale ticket prices for music and sporting events. The government announced it will hold a consultation into the secondary ticket market this fall, and the issue of dynamic pricing will now be factored in. Ticketmaster doesn't set prices itself. The company said that's a decision for event organizers. In other words, the promoters. But artists have a say as well. Swift, Ed Sheeran, and The Cure are among the big names who have opted not to use dynamic pricing on recent tours. However, Bruce Springsteen caused a stir back in 2022 when he said he'd use the model. Meanwhile, Ticketmaster is in hot water stateside. In May, the Justice Department and dozens of state and district attorneys general filed an antitrust suit in an attempt to break up Ticketmaster owner Live Nation, claiming it held an unlawful monopoly over the live entertainment industry. Thanks for listening. There's more to these stories and additional articles at Engadget.com. This episode featured journalism from weekend editor Cheyenne McDonald and contributor Chris Holt, and was voiced and produced by me, Steve White, from the boutique sound studios of Spoken Layer. Enjoy your day, and I'll be back tomorrow with more tech news from Engadget.